Okay.
I want to go back and pick up something. Can I pick up something?
Yeah, what do you want to add?
I want to add that on August 1st, 1939, I arrived at Fort McClellan. August the 2nd, 1939, I was issued uniforms and given a physical. And on the 3rd day of August, I was signed the oath of enlistment into the Army. And on the 4th day of August, I was on KP.
So that was quite an introduction to the Army at that point. What kind of KP? You mean like peeling potatoes?
Peeling potatoes and scrubbing pots and pans.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was quite your introduction to the Army. Did you want to quit right then?
It was fun.
Yeah, well, it was fun. Oh, okay.
I went to one other incident at Fort McClellan. In the afternoon, we went out on the work details, and First Sergeant asked for volunteers for someone who could type to work in the order room. And even though I could type, I didn't want to volunteer for anything. And a fellow by the name of Johnny G. Robinson from Mississippi, who joined the Army the same day I did. And he was assigned up, instead of going out in the field, he would be working in the order room. And one afternoon we were out in the rain, pouring down rain. We were going on work detail, and Robinson came out of the order room, was standing there laughing at us because we were going out in the rain to work.
And he was in the orderly room, staying nice and comfortable.
He was nice and comfortable, and he was laughing as we marched off, and suddenly the platoon sergeant said, "Halt, left face." And we turned and looked, and there was Robinson out in the rain again with a water bucket, watering the flowers. So we laughed and we went over it.
So the Army does have a sense of humor.
It does.
He got his, didn't he?
He did.
What other specialized training did you get? You said you were in South Carolina. Was that for more training, or was that just for departure?
Just to Charleston, South Carolina, board ship. USAT, U.S. Army Transport, Leonard Wood.
Okay, so then you arrived in Hawaii, and what were you assigned to then?
I was assigned to work in the order room. I just had to do another month of drill, recruit training at Wheeler Field, and then was sent down to Hickam Field, and they called it then turn to duty. And turn to duty meant you complete your recruit training, and then you could wear khaki breeches and a khaki shirt like a soldier. I worked in the order room, and the new barracks at Hickam were being built and were not finished, and we lived in tents for 7 or 8 months before we moved into the barracks.
What did you think of Hawaii at that time? Did you get a chance to get out and do much in Hawaii?
My first beach that I ever went to was Waikiki Beach.
That's the first time you'd ever seen the ocean other than on the ship coming over.
That's correct. Never been out of the state of Alabama.
So what did you think about that?
Well, it was interesting, and it was different, I'll say that.
Now, at some point, you bought a sailboat, right?
I did. A fellow by the name of Malone, Bertram Charles Malone, from Thief River Falls, Minnesota. And he and I became good friends, and we bought a sailboat together, a 22-foot sailboat with a cuddy cabin with 2 bunks in it, and we learned to sail and sailed. And one day I was lying on the cuddy cabin on top of it, and he changed direction, and the boom of the sail came and knocked me overboard, and we were about 2 miles off of Waikiki, off of Diamond Head. And he had turned, I had to stay in the water floating around while he turned the boat around and came back and picked me up.
Great day. That could have been quite an interesting experience.
I hadn't thought about sharks totally.
Until Jaws came out much later, huh? And you learned to surf over there too, right?
I did learn to surf. Became a pretty good swimmer.
So you really learned about water there. That's the first time. Had you been swimming when you were a kid?
In a creek.
In a creek. This was quite a bit different then.
Yeah, indeed.
So you had to learn about surf, and Waikiki Beach is known for its waves and surf, right?
Known as waves. The north side, North Shore, had the 20 and 30 foot waves, so we'd go over there.
So you surfed North Shore, Hawaii, is that correct?
I did, with taking my mattress cover off my mattress and running down the beach and filling it up with air, and then going out in the water with on my mattress cover in 20 foot waves.
Great day. What else did you do in Hawaii? So you were in Hawaii. You arrived there in October of 1939, right?
I did.
So you were there for almost 2 years before the attack on Pearl Harbor.
I was. And in 1941, early 1941, I got to go to KMC, which was Kilauea Military Camp. I went to Kilauea Military Camp for 7 days with Robinson, the fellow that was in the order room with me.
Right, the one that was laughing at you.
Right. And I even got to go down to the crater of Kilauea.
Really?
Yeah, I was down there. You had the 200-foot walk down into it. And at that time it had not been active, but you could see you had to be careful where you stepped because there was lava flowing all around you.
Hot lava.
Hot, very hot, yes.
So you got to see the bottom of the crater?
Mm-hmm, I was down in the crater.
Great day. So what was your rank at that time? Were you still butt private, or had you gotten promoted?
I had gone in as a private and earning $21 a month, and sometime later I was promoted to PFC, and that gave me $26 a month, and still on KP. And about a year and a half later I was promoted to corporal, $42 a month.
That's quite a raise.
The advantage was I didn't have to do KP anymore.
Oh, so that was a raise and a huge benefit.
Right.
Okay, I want to ask you something. While you were in Hawaii, now you and Mama had grown up together, but you were not married at that time.
Not married, not even more than friends.
Did you write to each other at that point?
I sent her a postcard from Panama that she still has. It says, "Come on down, I'm waiting for you in Panama." And showed a little black kid up in a palm tree.
With an alligator at the bottom. I've seen that postcard. I've seen that postcard.
And
so
I did send her a couple of letters, I think, but no more than that.
So I know we're getting a little off subject. We're going to come back to it in a minute. But so when did you decide that you and Mama needed to get married, or were going to get married?
When I came back to the States to go to OCS.
Okay, so that was after Pearl Harbor.
It was after.
Okay, we'll come back to that then.
Okay.
So by the time you and Malone were sailing and surfing, and you've been promoted now at this time to corporal, right?
Right.
What happened?
I was corporal, and I later got promoted to acting sergeant, which meant I had the responsibility of a sergeant, but the pay of a corporal.
Was that before or after the invasion on Pearl Harbor?
That was before, because on Pearl Harbor, December 7th, I had sergeant stripes on.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the day of Pearl Harbor. Now, y'all had been on alert.
We had been on maneuvers all beginning early in 1941, after I came back from KMC, and we started having maneuvers frequently. And on December the 1st, 1941, we went on alert. They said we were going to be attacked by saboteurs. So all the airplanes were lined up, wing to wing, and
ready for takeoff.
And we had armed guards walking around them to protect them, and we're still living in the barracks, right?
Yeah, you were living in the barracks then, right?
Right.
Okay.
Where do we go now?
Okay, so you had been on alert, but the Saturday before Pearl Harbor, y'all had been taken off alert, right?
That's right. Noon Saturday, we came off of alert, and 50% of the base of the outfit was allowed to go on past to wherever they wanted to go. And I looked, and I was beyond the 50%. So I decided that Malone and I would go anyway. So I left, and we went to Honolulu, and we're planning to go North Shore again the Sunday morning after that.
Now tell me again, what unit were you with at that point?
22nd Material Squadron, Hickam Field.
Okay. Who was your commanding officer? Do you remember?
No, I can't think of his name.
Okay, but you were acting sergeant, so you were responsible for how many men? How many troops?
A squad.
A squad, okay. So you and Malone went to North Shore, and
we were planning to go to North. Many times we had gone, but I was supposed to go the next morning, December 7th.
Okay, so y'all were off alert. So tell me about Sunday morning. What happened?
Sunday morning, I awoke about 6:30 and decided that I'd go down to the mess hall. The mess hall was in the center of the barracks because there were 3 wings on each corner of the barracks, which made 12 wings. And in the center of that was the central mess hall, which fed all the people living in the barracks.
That was a separate building, kind of.
No, it was in the center of the building.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I went down. I put on my blue uniform, and went down to the mess hall and ate breakfast. Came back up from breakfast, and
what time was this?
Maybe 7:30.
Okay.
And I decided to, on Sunday morning there was no inspection, so I made up my bunk, laid on top of my bunk, and we were just going to lie there till Malone came by about 8:30, and then we were going to leave about that time.
Then what happened?
Then we heard noises of airplanes diving, and all of us in the barracks in the barracks at that time got up and went to the windows and looked. We could see airplanes diving over the mountains, down toward Pearl Harbor. And we were commenting that why is the Navy doing that on Sunday morning?
So you thought it was friendly fire. You thought it was exercise.
There was no fire at that time.
Oh, okay. But you just thought it was exercise.
Exercise, and then all these airplanes were diving. Then we started seeing black patches of smoke coming up, and we said, well, the Navy's shooting at them. That's just really odd. And so we watched that, and while we were watching these planes diving, one lone airplane came over post headquarters, across the base operations, and underneath that airplane there was a live torpedo. And we all commented, why is the Navy carrying live torpedoes over Hickam Field? And didn't see the insignia on it. And about that time, there were 2 loud explosions where bombs had hit the HAD, which was Hawaiian Air Depot hangar, was a block away from us. And the CQ, Charter Quarters, came into the barracks and says, everybody out, the Japs are attacking. So I ran out of the barracks with everyone else, went through the 5th Bomb Group, which was on the north side. They had the 3 big wings on the north side. Went through them, out the other side, and as I went out the door and going down the steps to the ground to run, I tripped over the body of a staff sergeant, and that was the first casualty I had seen of the war.
Oh my, so then what did you do?
Then I recovered from losing my balance, ran across the parade field to a palm tree, which had a low ground impression. I dived in it, and 2 or 3 other people jumped in on top of me, and lay there, and I finally stuck my head up and saw this airplane coming, and it was firing, because I could see fire coming from the wings. So I stuck my head back down, and the airplane came and got right over where I was. He pulled straight up into the air. And then people were still coming across the parade ground, and the planes were strafing them. So a little bit, I got out of the impression around the palm tree, and we were talking about what was happening, and some fellow came up and said, they've dropped paratroopers on the North Shore, and they're in blue uniforms.
You were wearing a blue uniform.
I looked down, I had on a blue uniform. So I ran back to the barracks and went in there, and Saturday, I was supposed to turn my 45 in to the arms room.
Your sidearm.
My sidearm. And I decided I'd go eat lunch before I turned my weapon in. When I got back, the arms room was closed, not going to be open again until Monday. So I put the 45, wrapped it up in a towel, took the clips of ammunition out, and put them in the bottom of my footlocker under a towel, and kept the footlocker locked.
This was Saturday. Okay, so it was there in your footlocker when you got back.
And my steel helmet, my gas mask was hanging in my wall locker.
Okay.
So I ran back there, took off my blue uniform, put on a khaki uniform, got my 45, my pistol holster, and put my clips in the holder, and put a clip into my magazine into the pistol, and got my steel helmet, and went back outside. And second lieutenant was standing there, and he said, "Sergeant, get a detail and go back through the barracks looking for duds." So,
duds, what would explain that? What is that?
A dud is an unexploded bomb.
Okay, still could be live, but just had not detonated yet.
Right.
Okay.
So I looked around to get a detail to go in there, and when a lot of people had been standing around, when they heard that, they took off. So I looked around, I was the only one, so I figured, well, I'd go do it myself. So I went through all 3 barracks, all 3 levels of each barracks, and I went back to the lieutenant and tell him that I didn't find anything, and he'd gone. So I started to walk away, and at that time I saw Malone. And Malone was carrying a Springfield rifle with only the barrel and the trigger guard in his hand, the stock having been shot off while he was carrying it.
While he was carrying it, the whole front of the rifle had been shot away.
The back of the rifle.
I mean, okay, right.
Right. And so we got together and decided what we were doing, and the hangars were burning across the street.
Were you still under attack at that point?
We were still under attack.
Okay.
So Malone and I decided to go there and help them push airplanes out of the hangars because they were on fire. The hangar was on fire, and we got to this hangar, and there was one B-18 bomber that was not on fire, but the 2 behind it were on fire, and the barracks and the hangar was burning. So we got on the wing and pushed the bomber out, and in the middle between another hangar, and Malone said he was going to stay there, so I went started back across. I said, I'm going back to the barracks, and I went across to the barracks area, and as I got in front of the 23rd Stereo Squadron area, I looked up, and there were 5 airplanes coming across, and with the bomb bays open, they were about 1,500 feet altitude, and they started releasing the bomb. There were 5 I was standing there, and we watched those bombs coming down, and each one seemed to be coming my way.
Aimed right at
toward
you.
me. So we started running then. I was going to run back inside the barracks, and what we didn't know was that this was a second flight of 5, and the first flight had already released their bombs, and they started to run. They started bursting while we were running back to the barracks.
So you're dodging these bombs at that point.
Right. And got to the door of the barracks, and it was lifted up and thrown inside because a bomb had exploded very close to me and blew me into the barracks.
That's when you received a head injury? Is that
I
correct?
was hit on the back of the head and got some scratches. Well, not scratches, they were bleeding pretty bad. Tips of my fingers and on my wrist, and lying on the floor, and it hurt pretty bad. So I thought at first that I'd been hit in the head and bleeding, but it turned out to just be a bruised bump on the back of my head, and my helmet had been knocked off into my nose. So I reached up with my right hand and found out it was not my head that was bleeding, my hand was bleeding. So I wrapped a handkerchief around it, my hand, and went outside and started shooting at the airplanes because they were so low. I fired all 21 rounds of my ammunition at them.
Now, You said in one of the things that you had written, your narrative, that the people around you at that point had all been killed. Is that correct?
Yeah. Before I went back out, I went out to see the other 4 people that were with me, and each one of them was lying on the ground, hurt pretty bad, blown up pretty bad because they were all dead.
Oh my! You were the only one that survived.
I'm the only one that survived it. Yeah.
That attack, that part of the attack.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened then?
Then I started down the hallway. I was going to go to the other end of the barracks because we were being hit pretty bad, and barracks were being blown up, so I thought, well, I'll go to the other end. So I went to the other end, and a fellow was lying on the floor in front of me, and he'd been hit in the chest, and he said, help me. So I called, a medic came up, and they took him away. So I got to the other end of the barracks, and we started getting hit pretty bad there. And I was lying on the floor, and bombs were bursting outside, and the flags were hitting on the wall around us. And there was another fellow in my outfit there, and he had been hit in the calf of the leg, and he said, it hurts pretty bad. He gave me a knife, a pocket knife, said for me to cut it out. And I told him, no, I wouldn't do that. So we called another medic, and he came and got him and took him away.
So the shell or the bullet was still in his leg at
Right.
that point. He wanted you to cut that out.
So we were lying on the floor there, and being bounced up and down each time a bomb burst from concussion.
So how long after that before the attack ended, and what happened?
Now that I know, it lasted about 2 hours. That time it seemed like a long time. And when the attack was over, we went outside to parade ground digging trenches. And we were digging trenches, and a fellow from Arizona was in front of me digging, and I was in back of him. And as he swung his pick down into the ground, the rear end comes up a little bit, and I swung my pick down, caught his left pocket of his uniform, and he ripped it open. And he wasn't very happy about it.
No, I bet he wasn't.
So he said, well, I'm not going to dig anymore with you behind me, so I'm going to face you. So we dug him in front of me and me in back of him.
I guess at that point, tensions were pretty high for everybody, too.
Yes, they were very high. And, well, very high, and even more so that night.
Did you know at that point how bad the attack was?
No, all I could see was smoke coming up from Pearl Harbor, and all the damage to the barracks, could see that easily, and all the airplanes were blown up, and the hangars were being blown up.
So you suspected that was pretty bad?
Pretty bad, yeah.
There had to be some rumors flying about what had gone on, and
no, we thought we were going to be invaded by the Japanese. You
did think you were going to be invaded at that point?
So while we were digging trenches, and I still had my sergeant stripes on, some master sergeant came by and said, "Sergeant, get a detail and man this machine gun." It was a 30 caliber water-cooled machine gun. So I got the machine gun and got me 3 men to serve as a loader and ammo bearers. And I stayed on that machine gun for the next day and took it down the beach that night to set it up for Japanese coming back, because we were sure they were coming back that night.
Okay, hold on a minute. We're going to stop and close that door. Okay.
I want to go back and pick up something. Can I pick up something?
Yeah, what do you want to add?
I want to add that on August 1st, 1939, I arrived at Fort McClellan. August 2nd, 1939, I was issued uniforms and given a physical. And on the 3rd day of August, I was signed the oath of enlistment into the Army.